For there's purpose planned for me, and I will not die in the midst of my wars. For there's victory in me, and it's the anointing of the oil that covers me. It's by His blood I've been set free. Yes, I am stronger, so very stronger. Oh, we'll survive. Anybody out there know you will survive? I need every survivor to lift your voice and declare it right here. I know, for there's purpose planned for me. I will not die, no, for there's victory. It's the anointing, yeah, of the oil. Oh, it covers me. The blood I've been set free, and yes, I am strong. Yes, I'm stronger. I will survive. Yeah, I will survive, y'all. I'm gonna survive, y'all. Whoa, I will survive. I will. I promise you I will. I'm gonna survive this. Yes. Storms may rise, winds may blow, but there's one thing I know, weapons that are formed, they didn't succeed. Why? Because the greater one lives. He lives down on the inside of me. Yeah. I will. Yeah. You can't stop me. And you can't block me. I'll overcome every trial, every obstacle. I will survive. I feel this thing, y'all. We'll survive. Yes. I need a witness. God tell cancer. God made it today. What was meant for evil is gonna work for my good. I decree and declare. Somebody shout yeah. Hey.
Yo, Jesus is popping. That's why we celebrate him the way we do. Let go. Since I met Jesus, my life changed. University. Feel that trick right there. We gotta get it. Let's get it. Come on, celebrate. 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 It's a whole celebration. Everybody right there, clap, clap. Come on, clap, clap, clap. Here we go.
Took a drink from the fountain that never runs dry. Living Gucci in a land where no one ever dies. Sabbath day forever, celebration high. The party never stops. We're addicted to the feeling. Come on,
Y'all mad because I'm letting my young people dance. I'm sorry. Break you off, son. We're gonna break you off, son. Let's go break you off, son. Break this bread. Let's go. Yo, get the Florida out big little city, 1 mile long and 1 mile wide. We out here. Let's celebrate. Come on. You might as well move. Feel the groove. Come on. Come on.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Mother Georgia, she's back on live, the historic 980 WDDO. All of a sudden, let's go live into the studio with our host, Brenda Sutton.
Well, hello. Obviously, this is not Brenda Sutton. She doesn't have a terrible cold. This is one of her co-hosts. This is Johnny Holingshed Jr., better known on the air as Deacon Durong. Brenda is not here today, and the lovely Emily Amos has returned from her world tour. I don't know exactly where she went. Oh, let me take my normal hat off and put my radio hat on. And I guess I could take my sunglasses off too.
Oh, you was giving like Ray Charles vibes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not easy being green.
I mean, you know.
It's not easy being green. That's one of my favorite songs that I heard Ray Charles sing. If you've never heard this song called It's Not Easy Being Green, go check it out. First time I ever heard it, I discovered, was on Sesame Street. It's Not Easy Being Green. Go check it out. First time I ever heard it, I discovered. So we're on delay.
All right, we have like this feedback thing going on here.
So we're on delay.
You guys bear with us for a second. We got a few technical difficulties going on, but how has your weekend been so far?
She did. Whatever was happening, everybody in Radio Land, they're going to try and say it was me, but it was actually Emily and her application of her technological
Don't believe it. I just shared it. He just, what kind of phone? Is that a flip phone? Or
I think the CIA or somebody's
they probably are
tuned into my phone. But we've got that problem corrected. You asked me how was my weekend. Let me just say, before we get into our subject today, I had an experience this weekend. I did an event with Storytellers Macon. which is an awesome group, awesome organization.
Mhm.
And what they do is really, really something I think that everybody can take part in and everybody would appreciate. I told her it's a form of testimony. It's like release. It's a release
Mhm.
kind of a thing. But I was asked to be a part of a presentation that they had at the historic Douglas Theater.
Mhm.
I was honored to be asked. There were 5 storytellers, including me, and Judge Colvin was one of them,
Hmm.
and Gloria Cisse and Rhonda Miller, and it was.
And so, what did you talk about?
And Janice Habersham, who is the mother of Macon's great opera singer Jasmine Habersham, who's recently married, and I can't pull her last name now, but so it is the subject matter was stirring the pot, and it was referring to something that you did or something that happened to you that was out of the norm or an anomaly that propelled you to do different than status quo. And for me, within your life function. And for me, it was about family and it was about theater and how my passion and love for the stage and theater was a part of me making a decision that sort of kind of went against what would have been the normal action after an event in my family's history, that I would continue with school and continue studying theater instead of stopping and just coming back home to Macon. Because when I was growing up, that's what you did. If you had some sort of tragedy in your family or loss of someone, and especially if you were the oldest, then your job was to come back and take that place. But my mother was one that I still feel today that would have wanted me to be an example by showing my brothers and my people that we still got to move forward and go on. You know, just don't lose the love that we have. The biggest thing for me, other than me just being, I was talking about my mom and when she got sick and how it affected my life and certainly my entire family's life and me playing. I used to be a wonderful athlete, but that's another.
How long ago was that?
When I was in high school and being recruited by colleges all over the country, really.
What was your sport of choice?
Well, I was being recruited in football, but I played baseball as well, and I was on the track team as well. I was a high jumper.
So you were an all-around.
Yeah, and I was pretty adequate academically. So I was doing pretty good things. I was. I will say that my mother's illness and death certainly derailed me. I'll just say it that way, from that path that I was on. But the bestest moment of this past weekend at the Douglas was that as you spoke and told your story, they would project certain pictures of events or things or people on the screen in the theater. And as I was telling my story, they projected a picture of my mother. And I really didn't think about it so much while I was doing it. But there was a person who took pictures of the show, and Desto. And Desto sent a picture of me being on stage during my storytelling. And it was a picture of me standing on stage delivering my story and my mother on the projected on the screen. And I just immediately thought, I was like, wow, because I referred to her as always being my executive producer. And I was just thinking, wow, you know. My
Mhm.
mom died in 1979,
Mm.
but here we are in 2021, and we're sharing the stage together. And
Mhm.
it was such a profound moment
Oh wow.
for me.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, I will cherish that
Yeah, that's a special
forever.
moment. Yeah, that's amazing.
It was really like, when you talk about the chills and
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff, man, it's still riding with
Wow.
me, you know. It's still riding with me.
Okay.
Okay, snapping out of that.
back to
Yeah,
back to reality.
Emily's
Huh?
trying to show you all that I have an emotional side.
Oh, I did it. He does. You know, here and there, that side comes out, and we love to see it. We love to be
But
present.
I do
for
try
it.
to remain practical. I try my best to remain practical.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Well, you know, he's looking good. He's, you know, rebounded from his little quick, you know, little COVID, whatever. He's looking great. He's got the pop
There
vibes,
she
which I'm
goes.
feeling.
She
He
couldn't
got the, you know, the hat going on, like he doing what he doing. You know, he got the bow tie. He like
Hey,
fresh
look,
pop.
check this out. This tie is wood.
I know.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I was like, yeah, he doing it up today. You know, I was watching Steve Harvey has this thing on Facebook. It's called Steve Watch or Watch Steve or something like that. And so there's this new club and it's called the Silver Fox Gentlemen or something like that. And you remind me of the guys that were in that club.
I got that. I saved it.
You saw, yeah, I thought that was
some
like
cool brothers.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty dope.
Hey, listen, Emily, after I saw that episode,
Mhm.
I went to the gym and started working out.
Very good.
I'm gonna be taking my shirt off next summer.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
so
I'll be like, sir, if you don't have several seats, have several seats and put your shirt back on.
6 packs are coming back.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I once
You
had
know,
them.
the Silver Foxes are nice. I mean, I
Hey.
like that. You know, they was dressed clean.
They were.
They were, you know, seemed to be all respectable men. I think all of
Yeah.
them were married except for, was it 2 that weren't married?
It was 2 of them,
2 that weren't married. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
but they represented very well.
they did. They did.
Age
And
ain't
honestly,
nothing but a number.
Steve Harvey actually looked out of place.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think it's because he still dyes the mustache, but he looked out of place almost.
Well, Steve ain't the most handsome
But
man.
no, he's not. No, he's not. But
I'm sorry, Steve Harvey. I'm sorry.
But I think it was, I don't know if it was the bald head. He just didn't look like he fit in with them.
Because his face looked as old as them, but his mustache looked as young as a 20-year-old.
Right, exactly.
That's what the problem was.
Right, exactly. And I was kind of like, And even, you know, when he got into the group picture with all of them, I was kind of like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, because most of the guys had, beards are in now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
it
beards
is.
in.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, I've got, keep praying for me. I got an agent now. And on my travels,
wonderful.
as I've been working lately with this national tour with Harry Lennox,
Mhm.
a lot of that's, and Chad Lawson Cooper, a lot of people know Harry Lennox from that TV show, The Blacklist. And he's one of the stars there. And he also was in one of the Avengers movies. But look him up. He's a very credible actor and doing some great things. I'm proud to be working with and for he and Chad Lawson Cooper. We're going to be heading to Louisville on the 3rd with the play Justice on Trial. And there's a movie we made of it, and we're working on getting it shown at the Douglas Theater in this upcoming in December probably. The guy that used to play Professor Ogilvy on
Oh, really? Yeah.
on Parkers, on the Parkers, Dorian Wilson, and
Right. His
and
name was Stanley Ogilvy. I think on the show.
and Todd Bridges, who was in Different Strokes.
Mhm.
What you talking about, Willis? He's plays a lawyer in the movie Justice on Trial. It's actually playing on Amazon Prime, so you can look that up and check it out, y'all. But let's talk about Emily here for a moment or 2 or 3 or 4, because Emily has been away doing things. She missed one show. She was in Atlanta taking care of some business. I'm just thinking she's probably growing her enterprises.
And that's exactly what I'm doing. Mondays are my only off day.
Okay.
So I work 7 or 6, really technically 7 days a week, but I work 6 days a week. Mondays are my only off day. So Mondays, I'm typically doing paperwork, any type of business meetings or anything like that, computer, getting caught up, maybe payroll, answering emails, whatever. I do a lot of that on Monday. And so a lot of times I get caught up and I have to stop what I'm doing to actually come over here to do the radio show, which I don't mind, of course, but sometimes I'm in a position where I can't stop.
Yeah.
Like even today, I was actually working. This is the busy time of year for us because we're coming into the holiday season. So I was actually working today, making some products. So I stopped to come over here.
You were making some soap?
I was.
Yeah, because in the holidays, people ought to be smelling fresh.
Yeah, I was getting ready for that. We got some new fragrances coming out that'll debut on Black Friday. We call it Pink Friday. But it'll be debuting then. So yeah, we got, I be working, y'all.
Man,
I be working.
Emily's soap looks so good and pretty. Matter of fact, I was looking at one of her posts one day and I was thinking her soaps. I was like, oh, I like that one. Now bring me some. And I was thinking it was a pastry, but it was actually soap.
I know. People be like, I remember I posted, I like lined them up. And I took a picture and somebody actually thought they were like slices of cake.
That's what I thought.
I was just like, no, it is soap, people. You cannot eat this, okay? But our soaps are natural soaps. So they're sulfate-free, paraben-free, chemical-free, preservative-free.
Great for your skin.
Cruelty-free.
Great for your skin.
So if you eat them, you will have bubble guts for sure. But, yeah. Do not eat the soaps. They'll smell good enough to eat. They'll look good enough to eat, but they are great for your skin. We put a lot of pride, a lot of work, and a lot of pride into it. I really, truly enjoy doing it. So like when I'm making the specialty soaps that look like different things, when I'm making the specialty soaps and they look like, certain things, like I did a birthday cake one. Once I've done ice cream cone. I've done, several, and they literally smell like whatever it is that I make. Yeah, it literally smelled like birthday cake.
So word to all the ladies, when you go to her shop and you got little kids, watch them, because if they go up near her product, they'll be over there chewing up what they thought was a cake or a candy bar and eating up Emily's soap and having bubble guts.
Okay. So, yeah. But yeah, you guys have to come out and check us out. We have 2 locations.
Please tell them where you're located.
The Macon store.
Hold on. Tell them the name of the store, because there might be somebody who's been under a rock.
Right.
And they might not know. So tell them.
Do you know the name of the store? Let's see if you pronounce it right.
Naturalista.
Okay. He had to think about it for a minute.
No, I did not. I was appalled that she would ask me such a question.
No one see he was going to pronounce it right, because people always pronounce it wrong. But yeah, it is the Naturalista. And hey, Dean Brown. It's the Naturalista. So we have one location in Macon that's at 2367 Ingleside Avenue. That store is open Tuesday through Saturdays. And then we have a second location in Warner Robins. Technically, it's Byron. And that one is located at 6009 Watson Boulevard. And we just opened that one in March of this year. So our Black Friday sale, which you guys have to come out for, we're actually going to close the Macon store down that day, and we're going to bring everything over to the Warner Robins store. So you guys make sure you make it a point to come out and shop local, shop Black owned, and just, support your local artisans, because we do work hard. And I know we can't compete like now. Some of the big chains are doing early Black Friday sales, and obviously, small local businesses cannot compete with that. But we would like some of your business. You're going to spend the money anyway. It's the holiday season. I would encourage everyone that's listening, try to spend some of your money with local businesses. I mean, we really thrive off of the local community, and we survive off of our local community. So it's really, really important to shop local if and at all possible. I know there's some things that you can't find at local small mom and pop shops, but I do tend to do a lot of my shopping with smaller mom and pop stores because I own them. So I kind of know how it is, and every little dime counts. So you guys come on out and see us during the holiday season, because my motto is, you're going to spend the money anyway. You might as well put the money into your community.
Well, all of that was very humble, your presentation just then. But Emily, really, for me, I would just say to people, the bottom line is, she has the best products. She has a great product. So I understand you being with your humility and saying to people, come shop with me because, we're a small business, because we're a black business trying to make it. But the reason they should shop with you is because you have the best
a superior product. I will agree with you.
Absolutely.
And not just because it's my product, but it really is. It truly is a superior product.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is sourced, hand sourced. We make everything that we sell, we make by hand. So you're really not going to get a better product, and everything is made fresh. We don't keep anything on our shelves for long periods of time. Everything is constantly revolving, which is what I really like about the product. So anytime you come in, you're going to be getting a fresh product, because we actually produce as we sell. So when you come in, you're guaranteed to get something that was made just a few days prior, and it allows us to keep the product as natural and organic as possible. So you are truly indeed getting a superior product.
Amen.
So yeah, you guys come on and check us out. And fellas, if we have some fellas listening, your wife will not be disappointed, or your significant other will not be disappointed if you come and shop with us. They'll be happy, they'll be pleased, and yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm tired because this time of year, obviously, we're super busy, but it's the good kind of tired. It's a bad kind of tired, and it's a good kind of tired. So I'm tired in a good way because I'm doing what I love to do. And I'm tired in a good way because I just enjoy doing it. It's awesome.
But you do such a great job.
Thank you. And Brenda was supposed to Zoom in with us today, but she is definitely a user of our product. She's been using my products for a while now. She even turned Big Hen on, which is a great segue into thanking our sponsor, Attorney Henry Williams, the Big Hen, Henry, aka Hen Dog Williams. Okay, he sponsors our show, so we want to give a huge big shout out to him today. And if you guys are listening, please call in 478-250-1444. Again, 478-250-1444. And I think this is a perfect time to kind of get into today's topic. What do you think?
Go for it.
So I want to make sure I read this correctly. Okay, guys. So let's see here, because I typed it out, so I want to make sure. All right. Oh, I just got a message from Brenda, so she will not be joining us today. So we do want to send out a huge prayer for Brenda. She will be having the knee surgery tomorrow. So we definitely want to send a shout out, let her know that we love her. We are missing her today. And you guys, please send your prayers out to her that she has a successful procedure tomorrow morning.
She's going to be great. She's going to have a successful
procedure. So today's topic is actually going to be when and how to let go of toxic family and friends. This is a loaded topic. I don't even know if we can cover it in the next 45 minutes, but when and how to let go of toxic family and friends. And I think we should define toxic. What do you think toxic is? Or should I pull up the actual Webster's dictionary of what toxic means?
I tell you what I do believe. I believe that women have more of an issue with not letting go of toxic friends than men do.
There you go.
I'm just saying.
Okay, so the dictionary, the Oxford dictionary's definition of toxic is poisonous or very harmful or unpleasant in a pervasive or insidious way. And they actually have in parentheses a toxic relationship. So that's big time when the dictionary actually uses toxic in a relationship as its analogy. So it says very harmful or unpleasant in a pervasive or insidious way, poisonous, a toxic relationship. So guys, okay, so toxic. We've all been privy to toxic relationships. Most of us have probably been involved in a toxic relationship in one way or the other, whether it is a what is Dean saying? True spending with local businesses creates opportunities in our community. I agree. Yeah, what was I saying? Toxic. We've all been involved in toxic relationships in our lives in one way or the other, whether it was a friend, a family member, could have been a husband, a boyfriend, a best friend. More often, it's a family member. And I think in our community, the African American community, we tend to put up with our toxic family members a lot more than we should. And I was talking to my mother about this.
Now, that's true. That's true. I agree with you there.
Yeah, I was talking to my mom about it. I don't know, it may have been a few days ago. And I said, I wonder why it is in the Black community, because I know I was raised a certain way, and she's considered a baby boomer. They were raised a certain way, but it's an unspoken rule in our community, that, hey, that's family. You always got to look out for family. You got to be there for family. You have to support family. And I said, why? Why are we the only race that does that?
But I think because we have more experience to have empathy for people. Like some people say, well, he knew better. He should be doing better. He had this, he had that. But we're more accustomed to people being denied opportunities. We're more accustomed to people being qualified and still being denied opportunities. So I think we have a soft spot with our understanding for that. We know that it doesn't, because someone failed doesn't mean they didn't try. Because somebody didn't achieve didn't mean that they didn't give it an effort. We understand that sometimes you could have been the best, tried the best, and gave the best effort, but they still didn't reward you. And so from the outside, it looks like you failed or were unprepared or didn't study or whatever. But we do know that the actuality within this country is sometimes it just comes down to them saying no, whatever them could be representing. And so we've been conditioned sometimes to perpetrate that same kind of action towards our own people, because we assimilate to what we know. And so sometimes we mistreat each other in that same manner. I think that's why we kind of give some of the reason why we give a little levity, because we're so used to knowing that it exists, that it just because you didn't win doesn't mean you really did win. Sometimes you're not awarded a trophy, but you really are the best. You really did win. But, the judge's parent funded the whole show, so it was close. So they're going to win. All those kind of tentacles can be a part of it.
But I get that. So in the family dynamic, though, of it all, and I was saying earlier when you stepped out that we've all dealt with it in our families.
Absolutely.
That one toxic family member that you just want to, like, literally throw your hands up and just be like, I can't do this with you anymore. I don't want to do this with you anymore. And I was, when I was speaking to my mom, I said, here's the thing. I think I feel there's this huge, great awakening in the country. And I hate to use the term woke, but there's this new sense of becoming mentally healthy and understanding that it is okay to walk away from a toxic relationship, even if it is your family member. Yeah. And I said, I know that in my generation, a lot of us are are still kind of stuck. It's almost like we're teetering on the fence because they say I'm in they consider my age a millennial, but I'm on the cusp. Like I was born in 81, and they say that millennials started in 80. The millennial generation started in
I have
1980.
never understood what that actually means.
Right. And when I tell you I have done the research, and what's funny is that up until about 4 or 5 years ago, I was always considered Generation X or Gen X. So I don't know who, right? I don't know who decides, okay, well, you're not Gen X anymore. You're now a millennial.
Right.
But what the whole point is that we're on that cusp of where we're part of the new awakening, or the Gen Z, which would be my son's generation, and I'm right on that cusp of where we're walking away. Whether it's your mom, your father, your sister, your brother, your auntie, your grandma, if it's toxic, you know what? I'm gonna leave you alone. Yeah. I'm not gonna allow you to ruin my life or ruin my experience of this life because I'm trying to hold on to something that is not conducive to my mental health, spiritual health, or physical health for that matter.
It's very interesting that you said your mental health and spiritual health, because sometimes that person that causes you this problem doesn't have to physically be around you. And that's one thing my uncle used to say all the time. He used to say, it's all right to be concerned, but don't worry. And it took me a long time to figure out the difference. But I think that that's the place that we have to take it. And sometimes people think, because you don't come by every time they call for the hypochondriac, is that what they call a person that's always saying they're sick?
Yeah.
So it's some people who are kind of like, it's the end of the world moment, oh Lord, I don't know what I'm gonna do and all that stuff. And then they got you concerned and they were talking about the cable bill money.
Right, yeah.
You're thinking they're about to get put out of the house, and all that you've heard from them is, I just don't know how I'm going to make it. Oh, Lord, these children, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then you find out they're just, late for the cable bill. So that's why, and then we got to start learning how, in actuality, a lot of people say, I'm just going to pray for them. I'm going to turn them over to the Lord, but we still carry that burden with us.
Yes. Oh my God.
And so, but we've got to learn that we're just talking out the side of our necks often, because we'll say it. No, I ain't got no, I turn that over to the Lord. But then the next 5 minutes you see them, they're pulling their hair out over that same
trying
person
to figure out,
they turn over to the Lord.
And that's exactly what I was saying. When I was talking to my mom, I'm like, why do we do that? It's like, we know that by continuing to enable the person, by continuing to foster the inappropriate behavior, that we're actually just making the situation worse. But it's something in us that says, I don't want to see you suffer, even though really you should be suffering because you over there cutting the fool, right? But it's something about us that does not want to see my sister suffer, even though I know, whatever, or my brother suffer, or, I don't know how we are going to be able to break that as a people to stop the behavior, like, because it's a generational thing.
Now, speaking of generations, that's just where I was going. So generationally, if that's a word, new word. So in my era, when I came up, it was very common that the take was that the dad would say, no, he shouldn't have been down there. Let him stay over the weekend. Let him stay locked up, or whatever the punishment might have been.
Right.
And the mom was always, that's my baby. Go get my baby. And so this is much of what we're speaking about now, is as far as how things changed in our structure, because there was a balance. There was one side being practical, and the other side was merely acting off emotion. I know he did wrong, but that's my baby. So that's the emotion part. That's my baby. That's the emotion part. And we forgot about sometimes they got to suffer the consequences in order to get the lesson, because pain will teach you what pride won't let you learn.
That's
And
it.
so sometimes that's the pride of, well, my mama loved me. She ain't gonna let me stay down here.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of considering what you did.
Mm-hmm.
And so some people call it tough love.
Right.
So we've gotten away from
Tough love. Yeah.
But tough love was really not anything mean.
It was you learning your lesson. You have to learn.
It was teaching.
Yeah, you have to learn. Let's see. Anthony says Christianity and religion bred toxicity by encouraging us to remain in toxic relationships. We were conditioned from slavery and biblical teachings.
Yeah.
What you think about that? I would agree.
I think that's certainly a true statement, but I also think it didn't start with Christianity. I think it started with people. I think, because a lot of problems that we have in America as African Americans, we all tried to blame slavery for it. But some of these problems that we had before they ever came to the savannah and picked us up.
You think so?
All of the warring nations they got in Africa, from history, from now to history shows, before the ships ever came, the Mayflower and all those whatever ships they were, before they ever came over to Africa to pick up anybody, it was not Eden. It was not this utopia over in Africa. Everybody was not getting along. And we try to pretend a lot of times in our take on things that the problem with blacks and African American folk started after slavery. No, they didn't. We had problems long before slavery.
Well, I would agree. Your tribes did fight amongst themselves and
I think we overlook that too much. I think we leave that out of the conversation too much. That we try to make it seem like all of our problems started post-slavery with each other. When they were making spears and chucking spears at each other long before those boats came.
Did you say spears?
Yeah.
Oh Lord. So okay, so here's the question though. How do you get out of a toxic relationship, especially when it's a family member? Like if it's a boyfriend, you can always walk away or leave, his boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. But say, let me give you a prime example.
Okay.
A person that you've been friends with since you guys were in 5th grade, elementary school or whatever. And this person, y'all have been, 10 toes down for 25 years. But as you're getting older, you're starting to realize, wow, this person really uses me, or wow, this person is really just toxic in general. And one thing I always say is your drama and your tragedy is not my emergency. But that friend will make everything that they're going through, and typically it's always self-induced trauma or drama or self-induced, tragedies, and they want you to fix it, or they want you to help them get themselves out of these situations. And so you've been with this friend friends with this person for 25 years, and then all of a sudden you start realizing, you know what, you just a walking ball of depression. You just a walking ball of nothing but drama. And I think it's about, like when you start to mature or when you start to realize that I can't be everything for you.
Yeah.
I cannot fix this problem that you created. I told you that he was no good, that, the baby daddy. I told you he was no good 10 years ago. And now you've had 3 children by him and he has 4 children by other women. Like, and that's what I mean about why do we stay in these toxic relationships when you know that you are no good for me? And it's a history there. It's like, a family member. We've been family all of our lives, and you just put up with them because why? Why do we stay in the situation?
I think love has a great part of it. I think that is the same reason that God continues to fool with us. Because we are toxic people.
I would agree.
All of us. Now, when one of us can tell me they're perfect, I want to, be right there with Jesus. But I think that because of love, that God loved, that we continue sometimes. Now, sometimes we don't. Our pride allows us to take on things that we should delegate to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I, like when you were talking, then my mind went to, I'm sure you've had the experience. Maybe you're not from here and didn't go to grammar school and all that stuff with some of these people.
Mm-hmm.
But here, I can go to any store, any convenience store,
Mm-hmm.
and the people be standing like, "Hey man, can I get that change when you come out? Or
Mm-hmm.
can I get, help me brother out?" Well, a lot of those people, because I'm from here, I know them. Like we were in the first grade or the fourth grade together, or the seventh grade together, or high school, junior high school together. And you'll see them, and every time, and you're sitting there going, man, I know that guy's more intelligent than what he's projecting, being standing outside this store and da da da. And hey man, can you give me $1? Can you give me $2? And you want to cut them off because you know this dollar's not helping you.
Right. Yeah.
And then some people with the problem they got, quote unquote, like for me, there are some that are suffering from some things that I've gone through. So now I got to decide whether or not I'm going to pass on the same love that was passed on to me and helping me out of my problem. And knowing that and remembering, because sometimes we forget, I have to maintain and remember, because just because I'm doing okay now and I'm away from that problem now, I wasn't always away from that problem.
But here's the thing that you have to ask yourself, though, when you were in that situation, you know for a fact, because you lived it, you know that it don't matter how many dollars I give you, these dollars ain't gonna help you.
Right.
So how do you determine when not to give the dollars? Because I know these dollars ain't helping you. I know what you finna go do with these dollars.
So then you have.
So are you perpetuating the problem?
No, what I've come to do is when they ask me for the dollar, even if I give them the dollar, I'm giving them a word with it. I'm giving them my experience, strength, and hope with it. I'm letting you know, hey, I've been through that. I lived. What you're doing now, I lived. Not just standing in front of the store part, thank God, but for whatever is propelling them or got them in that situation. So I might give you $1 today, but I'm not just going to turn around and walk off. You're going to have to listen to my experience, strength, and hope first. Right. Now, if you don't want to stand here for 5 minutes and listen to my experience, strength, and hope.
Right. You don't want this $1.
You don't want this $1.
Right.
So it's different methodologies that we can use. And sometimes I have to have enough sense and humility to know that, okay, I see that in that person, but I don't have an experience, strength, and hope in that. And then you'll be surprised sometimes you go to somebody and say, hey, look, I got this person I was in the 8th grade with or senior high school with. And I know you can connect them because you went through this. Can you talk to them? Because sometimes we don't go back and we don't reach out after we leave that site and put in more work into it. Because we really are supposed to be our brother's keepers. So sometimes if we just go, you know what? I don't know what to suggest to her.
And it's funny you said that. Why? Why do we have to be our brother's keeper? Like, where did that saying even come from?
But I think that once we figure out that we didn't do whatever it is that we have achieved, we didn't get it done on our own. And I've met so many people that have said, you know what? These folks helped me. And I found out the greatest benefit I got out of it was helping others. It seems the more I help others, the more I get, the more I receive. So some people just live in that realm, but it's different strokes for different folks, and I don't know that there's a one answer for all.
Right.
You know what I mean? So just have to kind of take it instance by instance. But I do agree with you with the subject matter that sometimes it's hard to get away from people who are doing toxic things. And it comes from relationships. If you know them, it comes from love. It comes from experience. Because, I can see this one guy, he might be doing something and I could walk on by. But I see the next guy doing the exact same thing, but I was in the 8th grade with him. So
your spirit is more led and compelled to to do for somebody, but possibly because because there's some type of connection there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Anthony says, let's go back. Okay. Well, Terrence Kendrick says, when I give $1, I listen to the spirit. I listen to the spirit, is what he said. And then Anthony says, no one is perfect, but all people are not toxic. Disagreeing does not make a person toxic. When a relationship becomes toxic and both are not willing to work towards a common goal, it is time to consider how to get out of the toxic space.
So what did you say toxic means? Toxic
means, let me give you the exact definition of it. The Oxford definition, it says poisonous or very harmful or unpleasant in a pervasive or insidious way, a toxic relationship. And Anthony said that would mean all relationships are toxic according to his theory.
Well, I'll tell you, I think what I was gathering from that was that we all do poisonous acts. And that's where I was at with that. Yeah, I don't think any of us are free from, even though sometimes we have our ends to our actions are good. We're trying to achieve something good, but collateral damage along the way might not think so. Somebody along the way got sacrificed, but you were trying to do something that was good for the many. But somebody on the side was like, yeah, but you took my chance. You denied me my opportunity here. I know what you were on the path to doing was a great thing, but I wasn't trying to save the world.
Right.
I was just trying to get my stuff done right here.
Right. Yeah.
So that person, that one individual will view it in that was a toxic act done towards them. So it's so many variations of it, but I agree, everybody's not evil.
Right.
Now that much I agree with. Everybody does not have bad intentions.
Now I have this this book that I downloaded on my phone. It's like I don't know if you call it an ebook, but anyway, it sends out like these little daily affirmations or mantras, whatever you want to call it. Lessons is actually what the book calls it. And it's helped me so much in learning to be okay with someone else being unhappy with you. And I think as we keep ourselves in these toxic relationships, whether it's a family member, a significant other, a friend, we keep ourselves in these relationships for fear of that person being mad at us. Like most humans, we don't like it when we know someone is mad at us, or we don't like the feeling when we know someone is displeased with us. Right. And, part of us will get cocky and arrogant and say, well, I don't care what he thinks. I don't care. One person's opinion of me has nothing to do with me. But in reality, generally speaking, we do actually care what people think about us. No matter how we try to convince ourselves and others that we don't care what other people think about us. Yes, we do.
Because people are quick to say that.
Yeah.
But we really do. I don't care what anybody thinks of me, but God.
Right. And it's just because it's not a true human ability. You can't live here and never think about or never care about what other people think about you. That's an unrealistic expectation of humans in general.
Now, it might not control our actions,
right?
What they think of us in that manner. Then, if that's what you mean by I don't care, then because it doesn't control your actions. But most of us think about it. Have a moment when we go, dang, I've never done anything to that person.
Why do they think that about? Yeah, that's what I said. It's unrealistic because I know I go through it all the time. Like, of course, I get called bougie, and I'm like, And so it's funny because I had the conversation with Raymond. I said, you know what? The ironic thing about that is people that call me bougie are people that don't know me. People that know me know that I'm very much down to earth.
Just silly as you want to be.
Right. And so it's like, is it because I carry myself a certain way? Is it because I don't deal with certain people or certain situations or certain atmospheres? Like, why do you just come to that conclusion when you don't know it? And of course, it doesn't make me lose sleep at night.
A lot of times, Emily, I've found that people say stuff like that about people because they know that they themselves have underachieved, and some sort of way of deflecting from their failures. Yeah.
You onto something there.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a deflection.
It is
of what you have not accomplished in your life, or you want to be on my level and you're not on my level, whatever that level is.
Yeah.
That's it. You're onto something. Like, and I use that word a lot, because people do deflect, and deflection comes in many different forms.
Oh yeah.
It comes in she thinks she bougie, and it was like, no, I don't think I'm better than nobody. I don't want to go down to that spot with you, because that's just not my scene.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's okay if I don't want to hang out in that particular spot. And that too lends to when you're in toxic relationships, because I always feel like the people that you surround yourself with should be like-minded, or people that you want to have something in common with that people. You want to be surrounded by people that vibe on the same energy that you're vibing on, right? But I do like being around different people, because I feel like you can learn so much from different people.
Open-minded.
Right.
To me, has turned out to be a greater thing than, in a sense, like-minded. But then like-minded can take on some different meanings as well, because like-minded could, for some, mean, like for me, I'm interested in entertainment and theater and philanthropic things and helping people. And then some people would say, well, then the next person you meet should be the same 3 things or 4 things. But I think that's a limitation. I think that I should be open-minded enough to want to hear people who are also trying to ascend. Right. And it might be in other areas, but as long as everybody's trying to move forward, right, and do good stuff, it doesn't have to be the same thing. But the same thing in reference could be that we're all moving forward, although there are different ways that we're moving forward. I think good subject today, and I think that it's going to be hard to find somebody that's not guilty of not letting somebody go that they know is in their path of movement. That causes stagnation for one reason or another. Yeah. That absolutely. It's difficult especially when it's a family member and you've been taught families first and that kind of thing. And for yourself, if I go over there, I got peace of mind. I'm so happy. I'm joyous. I'm free. And they call me. They want me to stop by for a moment. And if I go over there,
it's finna be some
drama.
Right.
About something. Yeah. But you go anyway. Because they put that thing, I love you. I ain't got nobody else to talk to, and me and you used to hang out and me and you used to, and da-da-da-da-da.
And then they bring back a memory and you just be like, all right, I'll be over there in a minute. But yeah, it's something about the human psyche. It's something about our spirit that makes us connected to that. And I don't know if it's the supreme balance that you want to have 180 agreeable, 180 disagreeable. That's the perfect balance. You don't want to be too agreeable. You don't want to be too disagreeable. And I think that's just part of us. And I don't know if it will ever change. I don't think there will ever be a point.
Because I think it's a bit, like I said, I think that it emanates from our godness in us. Some of that stuff that is higher than our understanding. That, because when you really take a look at it, the stuff that we're talking about, why don't we break away from these folk? How many times, if we use that same ideology with God, all of us will be on the desert probably. You know what I'm saying? If he had that way of thinking, like I've given them the commandments, I've given them the way, I've given them the word, I've showed them what to do. I have spoken to them in their spirit and they heard me, but they still won't do what I'm saying. And then they come crying to me, Lord, I'm just suffering. But he can say, well, I told you everything to do.
Right. It's like my thighs keep rubbing together and I know I should be. I know I should be. I be eating and it just be good. Like, what do I do? And I mean, it just be good.
I was listening to this comedian on my way down here, and he was saying, he was like, people sitting around saying they know they shouldn't be eating this stuff, but they gonna get some anyway. And he said, you just gotta stop. You know it's delicious. It's always been delicious.
Right.
It's gonna be delicious.
Right.
But you gotta stop eating it.
I want
Quit
it.
pretending that you're eating it, trying to see if it's still delicious. You know it's delicious. But
I just want it.
But you know you're going to end up with high blood pressure. You know you're going to end up at the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So stop whining about the consequences of your act.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. That's funny. You are too funny. But that's some people I'm sure are going to think about this again today.
Mm-hmm.
And next month, they're going to be still helping those same folks out. Or answer I ain't gonna answer the phone. But next time they call me, because every time they have called me, every time this year has been some mess. And I'm not gonna answer the phone. As soon as that phone rings, here they come.
Right.
And then you answer it anyway.
Right. And it happened to me with one of my family members. And it was I wouldn't say it was a fully toxic relationship, but it was a codependent toxic relationship. And it took me many, many years to realize what it was, because a lot of people actually don't realize when you're in a toxic relationship, for lack of a better phrase. And toxic is different for everybody. Your idea of toxic, what's toxic for you may not be toxic for me.
That's
right. So that's very important for people to know. What's toxic to you may not be toxic to me.
Yeah.
But after I analyzed it over the years, and I realized, and it's almost like, that spirit, the Holy Spirit, if you will speak to you. And it's like this epiphany, almost like the light bulb, goes off, and you realize, wait a minute, this is not helping me or you.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop doing this.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, when I stopped helping and stopped doing what I was doing, the dynamic of that relationship completely changed. And I think that was the way of the universe, the God sense, letting me know that, sometimes they'll put it right in your face and let you know that this is what I've been trying to show you all along, but you kept doing what you wanted to do. Right. You kept helping because that was what you wanted to do. And sometimes we help because it's our own ego. We help because we don't want it to be said that she reached out to me or he reached out to me and I told him no and I didn't help. So I think our egos make us do
that. See, that's what I'm saying. There's so many different reasons for it, because that's a very legitimate and real reason for it, the ego part. And then sometimes it's just because, but I'm a loving person. That's the reason why. And then sometimes it's well, somebody help me. And then how can I turn my back on? So many different reasons. But that's certainly a legitimate reason, is the ego part. You came up with a good one.
Let's see. He says, if your needs are not being met, if you have any issues with physical, mental, financial, or sexual abuse, when there is a catastrophic breakdown in communication, these should be times for a form of thinking that is different from what we have been methodically conditioned to think. Suffering in servitude is not beneficial to healthy outcomes.
What I also know is this, is that we live in a world that there are many actors, many players. See, okay, here's Joe over here, and Joe's got his stuff together. Joe had a plan. He wanted to have a successful business. And then there's Joel over there that's standing in front of the store asking for $1. But what if Joel had done the same thing Joe did? So now you got two people with a successful plan and everybody's patting them on the back saying happy. So, but what if everybody, the entire planet, had their own business? Now, what if every day, every person on the planet had a naturalista? Who's going to buy from who?
Right.
So I'm saying the world is made in a fashion.
Right. Our economy is designed
not
that
the
way.
economy. The world is made in a fashion where everybody is not going to be what we call winning in
Right.
that fashion.
Well, that goes back to the supreme balance, Mitch. It has to be balanced.
There's going to be givers. You
Mhm.
can't have givers without
Takers.
takers. And so I don't think man has anything to do with that. I think that that's the way of the world. And some things we have to understand that we cannot shape in this world.
Right.
We can only participate in.
Right.
But look, I hear some of the music in the back. Hey, check this out.
We got 3 minutes.
Next week.
Mm-hmm.
Pamela Davis, Zana Thomas, wonderful musician here. His mom is a super fantastic singer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And she has a new piece of artwork and music that she has coming out. And been fortunate enough here that we're going to try to interview on next week and play her music, a little bit of her music on next week's show. So put the word out there that we're going to interview Pamela Davis for a short time on this radio show and feature her new song. You know, and speaking of music, people, let's get Emily Amos on The Voice. This woman has a beautiful, outstanding singing voice.
Thank you.
I'm not just saying it. She is awesome. So we're going to start push her toward auditioning for The Voice, okay?
Lord have mercy. I've been thinking about it. It's
You
seriously
should.
hard.
You have the gift. I move around a little bit in the art world, and I don't see anybody that's. There's a couple of you all around here should be on The Voice. You and Alvin Purnell. You know what I mean? There's a couple of you guys.
You've been listening to All of a Sudden. Join them every Monday evening.
They're cutting us off. We love you. We'll see you next Monday. Bye.
Get better.
We'll see you there.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300 EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.